Music has the power to make or break an experience. I want you to think about the last time you heard a song and it took you back to a memory or to a moment. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes you could even have a smell involved, connected to that. And it can completely change your mood. Now imagine that music can do the same thing in a church setting, either drawing young people in or pushing them away. You see, Psalm 150, verse 6 says, "Let everything that has breath praise the Lord." And Ephesians 5:19 says, "Speak to one another with psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs, singing and making music from your heart to the Lord." You see, I know music is powerful, man. I grew up in studios and with my uncle DJing and mixing music. I grew up, Saturday mornings with my mom playing music as she cleaned the house. I remember music playing as I drove to school. Man, I remember being on the playground and music was playing. I was on the basketball court, music was playing. All these areas, there are sounds that are affiliated with those things. You see, I believe that music is more than just background noise. It's actually a powerful tool for engagement, for evangelization, and for encounter.
This is what Catholic youth ministry looks like.
Exploring the 5 M's of ministry.
With bread and morale, also known as a symbol.
Today, we're starting to break down why music matters in youth ministry and how we can use it effectively. You see, like I said before, in the different places where I've been in my life, music creates an atmosphere. Immediately, if there's a faster paced rhythm, right? If there's like some high energy music, it automatically makes the heart move. In fact, there's even science behind this about tempo and how your heart reacts to hearing those things. Music sets the tone for an event, drawing people in even before a single word is spoken. I remember we were throwing this youth ministry event a while back, and we had the music blasting before they even came in. And I had met some kids at the door, and this young girl, she goes, "Man, what is this? It feels like a party." And before she even got through the doors, because she heard the music in the distance, it then invited her into the space. You see, there's a difference between walking into a youth night that's just silent versus what I just said. And there's a lively playlist and there's clean content that it's already planting seeds of faith in them. Music connects with culture. Today's youth are constantly consuming music, whether it's through Spotify, TikTok, YouTube. Most of them always have AirPods in their ears. How many times have you had to ask a kid to take the AirPods out of his ears or the Beats headphones off or something like that? Music is always on. The average Gen Z, they say, listens to about 4 hours of music daily. If we're not curating the right soundtrack in our youth ministry programs and initiatives, we're missing a very, very huge opportunity. Music, it fosters community and identity. Certain songs become anthems for youth groups, right? Like, I don't know if you've ever been that took kids to a retreat or a camp and a particular song, they're singing it by the end. Or there's a specific chant and it becomes a part of their thing. You can see this in sports teams, right? Like, every sports team does things in the beginning of the year and they sign contracts with music artists and it becomes a part of the theme. If you watch the WWE, they have theme music as they come on. What's the theme music for your youth ministry, for your parish? Or do you have one? Have you even thought about it? See, music, it fosters community and identity in the ways that the Catechism says in 1156 that the musical tradition of the universal church is a treasure of inestimable value, greater than that of any other art. How is music used in our Catholic tradition? From Gregorian chant to worship and all of those things. Not all music engages and it connects in the same way. The type of music you play in a library might be more calm and relaxing for people to focus. The music that you play for football players in the gym as they're preparing to get their workout will be very different. To use music effectively, we need to be strategic, intentional, and be open to different styles, especially for our young people who are listening to different things. You see, the church uses music in liturgy, but it also should be a part of your regular gatherings. Again, St. Augustine says, he who sings prays twice. And I never forget, I was running a retreat, an event one time, and it was the final song, and I wanted to invite them into this moment of prayer and worship, and I asked them to sing this song with me, and I used this quote. I said, he who sings prays twice. So as your heart is moved, like, God is going to feel it even more. When I read this quote, I don't think that it means you got to sing well. So just sing with all your heart, no matter how you think you sound. And real talk, there was a kid in the front row, and he really didn't know how to sing. It was bad. He was screeching. Like, thank God there was no windows, because, yeah, it was going to be bad. But and I'm joking, but I'm serious, that I'm glad that there wasn't those things. But afterwards, after the message ended, the kid came up to me and he's like, man, I felt so heart moved in that moment. And he had a moment in prayer because he poured out, because he sung. And he, even though he wasn't trained to sing, him pouring his heart out that way made him feel more connected. The church has always recognized the power of music, not just in worship, but in evangelization and building up the faith of young people. Diversity of music matters. It's not a one-size-fits-all. It's not a one genre fits all. There should be intentionality in your song choice. There's a time that you want to be a little more calm, a little more prayerful. You want music that is going to reflect that. It's a little bit more quiet. It's a little bit more heartwarming in that sense. If you want them to be up and engaged and connected, you want music that's a little bit more high energy. Or maybe there's something in the middle. And being intentional about how you curate those playlists and how you put them throughout the night is going to be real important. Or throughout the day, depending on what time you're meeting. I want to pause for a brief moment to let you know that this series was brought to you and it was produced by Kari Films. Kari Films is a Catholic media production company whose mission is to capture the beauty of the Catholic faith. They do this through capturing live events. They do this through podcasts, testimonials, music videos, and more. You can find out more about them in the description below. Now let's get back to it. You got to think about engagement over performance. So youth ministry isn't necessarily a concert, even though a concert can be an invitation. Youth ministry is an invitation to encounter Christ. Now, I remember there was this moment I was at this, and it was a Catholic hip hop show, and the guy was so connected. He was like, man, he was just getting back to his faith. This is not even a teen. This is actually an adult. And he was like, man, this helped me. And we started talking about it. And then he started pouring out his heart to me about all these things that were going on in his life. And I was like, hey, man, can I pray with you? And we prayed together. And then he goes, man, I never thought I'd be able to pray with someone at a rap concert. And like, the guy has reached out. We've talked. Now, if this is a grown man, imagine how powerful that can be for young people. And I have countless stories of moments like that have happened. So at the end of the day, it's not only about entertainment. It's about encounter. Music is just the bridge that can lead young people to Christ. How are you going to implement that in your ministry? I leave that up to y'all. We're going to talk a little bit more about some strategic planning on how you can curate those playlists, how you can start training people for music, how you can start looking at trends and figuring out how that is. But music in youth ministry isn't an extra. It's a tool for transformation. And when it's done right, it can bring young people closer to each other, closer to the church, and closer to Christ. I invite y'all to continue taking this journey with me as we explore the 5 M's of youth ministry today as we talked about the music. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Go check bethesymbol.com, sign up for the email list, and find out a little bit more about how we developed this book, how we developed some resources to help you in your youth ministry be more strategic, more intentional, engage young people for Christ. Thank you guys for watching. See you on the next one. God bless. Peace.